Hello, I hope you have a good day. Today we will talk about a story in which a group of people decides to take the opportunity to start over on a new planet. But something has slipped onto their ship and they must find out what is happening. So today we will see a series called Origin. A spaceship called Origin carries a crew to Thea, a planet 5 light years from Earth. Halfway through the journey, Shun wakes up from hypersleep and his capsule fills with water, washing him before ejecting him to the floor. He puts on the clothes he finds waiting and goes to look for others, only to hear the alarm. Then he runs into Lana and they notice that something is moving in the shadows. As they look around, they hear the alarm again, announcing that more people are waking up. All the people who are now awake are passengers, not crew, and they don't understand why the capsules expelled them if they haven't arrived yet. While talking about the situation, Shun thinks about how he ended up here. Back in Tokyo, he used to be part of the Yakuza, while his brother Takeshi was a police officer. Takeshi knew that Shun felt trapped in criminal life and told him about the Thea project as a way to escape. Shun agreed to go to a special presentation and put on some glasses that showed him all the benefits of Thea, the only planet discovered so far that could sustain human life. It was still being colonized, so they needed more people to work there. Any volunteer could start a new life with a clean slate, which made Shun think of all the people he had killed for the Yakuza. Shun thought it sounded too perfect and would only go if Takeshi joined him. A few days later, while Takeshi was in the middle of a dangerous case, he called Shun to confirm that they wanted to leave together, but they had to do it that night because the police were after Shun. Unfortunately, the police found out that Takeshi was betraying them, and Shun was shot, but escaped just in time. Soon Takeshi found him and helped him get to his apartment, but the Yakuza were waiting there and killed Takeshi on the spot for being a cop. Back in the present, the group begins searching the ship for answers until they reach a room with a strong draft. Lana, Shun, and another man volunteer to climb the stairs and go to the upper floor to investigate, but they still can't find anyone and continue to the next floor. On the main deck, Baum finds a button and presses it while ignoring half the group's protests. Another alarm sounds and the footsteps begin to fade away, so the trio has to hurry. Shun and Lana make it safely to the next floor, but the third man falls and dies. While everyone panics, an elevator opens and Baum convinces them to move on. Meanwhile, Shun and Lana explore the next floor and find some bloodstains. They enter the control room and find some abandoned food, but still no crew. Soon the others join them and Lee touches a screen that activates the lights. Then Kat finds a small radio and manages to contact a crew member who asks for help, saying he is in cell 50 in the lowest ring. The man suddenly screams and the transmission ends. Shun, Lana, Abigail, and Henry volunteer to go look for him. While they take the elevator, Lee continues handling the screens and accesses the ship's computer. She discovers that the other passengers and crew members had evacuated the spaceship an hour before the group woke up because the ship had been hit by an asteroid. Back with Shun's team, they reach the lower floors and find pools with animals inside. Suddenly, a drop of blood falls on Abigail, and she looks up to see a body with a gun at its side. The tag says her name is Evelyn and that she is a crew member. At that moment, they hear a cry for help from behind a door, so Lana and Shun take the gun and go investigate. As soon as they disappear into the dark hallway, Evelyn wakes up and says, "No one should go past that door." In the dark chamber, there is a horrible smell and a sticky substance. Looking around reveals a pile of bodies and the asteroid that hit the ship. Suddenly, Shun is surprised by a man and defends himself, knocking him to the ground. The guy warns them to get out before his body begins twisting at all kinds of disturbing angles, saying the word "inside" before his eyes explode and he dies. At that moment, they hear another cry for help and find Max, who is badly injured and also has a gun. At the same time, Evelyn tells Henry and Abigail that Max cannot be trusted because an alien came with the asteroid and can get inside people. When Lana and Shun appear with Max, Henry immediately warns them, and Max tries to escape. Shun quickly strikes him several times to lock him inside the decontamination unit. Then Evelyn explains that after the asteroid's impact, the passengers began to die. Max attacked her and told her she had something in her head, so she asked to be locked up. Evelyn asks to see Max, and they take her to him, which makes Max say that she is lying, and that she was the one who attacked first. Abigail and Henry ignore him and take Evelyn for treatment, but Lana is not sure whom to trust. She checks both weapons and confirms that Evelyn fired first, so Max explains he shot in self-defense. Lana convinces Shun to release Max and take him to the infirmary too. Then a flashback shows that Lana used to be a bodyguard for a senator's daughter. She grew close to the family and became attached to them, which earned her a warning from the other bodyguard. However, Lana and the senator ended up kissing anyway. This distraction allowed some criminals to sneak into the house and shoot the senator before she took them all down. Her partner quickly carried the senator away while Lana went to look for the girl, but when she reached the bed, there were only pillows. Suddenly, a criminal attacked Lana and kept throwing her across the furniture until she grabbed her gun and killed him. Some of her bullets pierced the closet, and when she opened it, she was devastated to find the girl dead inside. In the present, Lee discovers that the communication systems connecting the ship to Thea have been destroyed. Logan begins to lose control and decides to leave the room. As he wanders, he keeps hearing voices, but suddenly Katie and Visha surprise him. Logan ignores their concern and enters the next room, where they find a gym. After drinking some water, the women turn around and notice Logan has disappeared. Katie and Visha go to look for him and reach the crew quarters where they hear a noise. However, it is only Baum, who found a crew tag and is now using the shower. When they turn on a computer, they find the video log of a worker. The guy is happily sharing his experience when suddenly the screen fills with static and an alarm calls the team to the control room before the video shuts down. The group continues and finds Logan at the same time as they meet Henry and Abigail, who are carrying Evelyn unconscious to the infirmary. Henry has medical knowledge, and with Abigail's help, begins to treat her. The others wait outside, but Logan gets nervous and leaves. Katie follows him and finds him searching for medication just before he collapses from a seizure. She helps him through it until she falls unconscious. When Logan wakes up, he asks Katie to keep the secret. Meanwhile, Lee discovers that they are 9 days away from Thea and that the ship is still on course, so the automatic landing system should save them. At that moment, Lee's nose starts bleeding, and Eric checks her, but she avoids his questions. In the elevator, Shun realizes that Max cannot even notice he is bleeding. Suspicious, he sees the medical tag and asks about the procedures, which makes Max respond by hitting him and taking his gun. Lana keeps him at gunpoint and demands answers, so Max reads the tag to say he is a human doctor. Lana freezes due to her PTSD, and Max tries to shoot Shun, but the safety is on, so Shun takes the chance to strike him and grab the gun to shoot him dead. Worried, the duo runs back to the disaster area and discovers that a body is missing. They follow a trail of viscous substance and find that the elevator is going up, so they will have to search every level. Shun gets nervous and points his gun at Lana, wondering if he can trust her. Lana immediately disarms him and points out that they should ask Evelyn for help. In the infirmary, Evelyn is unconscious but stable. She remembers the day she told her family about the trip. Her father had been proud, but her sister got angry because she was leaving her alone to take care of their dying father. During the journey, Evelyn noticed Henri moving in his capsule, and Max helped her adjust the oxygen levels. When the time came for the crew to also go to sleep, Evelyn's capsule malfunctioned, and the bright light of the ship entering the flash hit her face, causing her many visions of her past and future. She woke up and left her capsule, finding the room empty. Then she searched the area and found many passengers bleeding, only to wake up for real. It turned out that the light had injured Evelyn's eyes, and Max was treating her. They began spending time together and grew closer. Eventually, Max removed the bandages, and Evelyn's eyes healed, so they shared a kiss. The next time the crew went to sleep, Evelyn had visions of a violent future for the passengers. The crew woke up to a sudden alarm when the asteroids began flying toward the ship. Most were caught by the shield, but one managed to hit them anyway. The computer showed that passengers were dying in Cell 50, so Max took a gun and went down to consult with a co-worker. Behind Door 50, screams were heard. Minutes later, Max contacted Evelyn by radio and asked for help before the transmission was cut off. Evelyn ran to alert the captain, who announced that they were evacuating because there was an alien on board and therefore considered those in Cell 50 to be dead. Evelyn ignored her orders and went to look for Max instead of evacuating the passengers under her care, explaining why Shun and the others did not leave. When she arrived at Cell 50, Max warned her that he was already possessed before attacking her, so Evelyn shot him in self-defense. In the present, the fire alarm begins to sound and Henry goes to investigate, finding that the emergency button is broken but no one is around. He runs into Shun and Lana, who are rushing back with him. In the infirmary, Abigail takes care of Evelyn, who is lacking oxygen. Abigail grabs a scalpel to protect herself and runs out to find an oxygen tank. But when she returns, someone slams the door on her and knocks her out. It is Eric, who proceeds to strangle Evelyn because she saw him during the first attack and knows he is infected. At that moment, the others arrive and Eric is distracted, so Evelyn grabs a scalpel and stabs him. Eric flees before the others can catch him. Meanwhile, Logan goes to the bathroom only to be knocked down by Eric, from whose eye an alien emerges. Logan screams for help and Katie rushes in, screaming to distract Eric so that Logan can push him away. Eric runs toward the elevator just as Shun arrives and shoots him right before the door closes. Shun and Henry follow the trail of blood and also take the elevator. When they find Max's body, they see a small tentacle coming out of his eyes. Henry touches it and the alien immediately hides, so they decide to take the body to the control room for investigation. Among the medical tools, Henri finds a laser and tests it by cutting the tip of Max's finger. This makes Henri remember the day he was introduced to secret government laboratories. The leader said they wanted to use Henri's knowledge of DNA to trigger diseases instead of curing them, with the intention of killing a political oppressor to save lives. Henri worked hard but achieved no results, so the leader requested the help of another scientist. The rivalry inspired Henri to work harder and he found the right DNA for the mission, which successfully killed the politician in South Africa. Seeing his family on television made him feel guilty. In the present, Henry begins to cut open Max's head, and they find the alien attached to Max's brain, but it is decomposing. The alien is insect-like and can reproduce by entering a host and controlling its behavior. Then Lana and Shun go to look for Eric, who is back in Cell 50 and has found a radio. He calls Banish in the infirmary and asks for help, saying he has memory gaps and doesn't know what he did. Soon, Lana and Shun arrive at the morgue, where they find the radio with a body. At that moment, Eric closes the door behind them and lowers the temperature of the room to kill them slowly. Henry and Abigail bring Max to the infirmary and find Evelyn but not Visha. At that moment, Lana contacts them asking for help, while Shun starts hitting the cold air vent with a piece of metal. Since it doesn't work, he tries to use his fingers to remove the cover and injures himself in the process. Then he tries hitting the machine with the metal, only to receive an electric shock and collapse. Lana decides to try again and manages to stop the cold just in time. Meanwhile, Visha encounters Eric, who apologizes as he collapses. When Visha approaches, Eric confirms he has been pretending and attacks her. Hearing her screams, Henry and Abigail decide to split up. Abigail reaches the morgue and helps Lana carry Shun away. When Eric is about to infect Banish, Henry attacks him and the men begin to fight. Visha tries to escape, so Eric jumps on her, and Henry also jumps on him and the fight continues. Then Visha stabs Eric with the scalpel, and Henri steps back to close the door. Eric threatens to kill Banish, and Henri doesn't open the door, but he apologizes and opens the airlock, causing Visha and Eric to be sucked into space. Sometime later, Lee opens the crew quarters so they can go to sleep. Before choosing a room, Logan kisses Kat. Guilt prevents Henri from sleeping, so he goes to the airlock only to discover blood that indicates someone escaped through the ceiling hatch. Half asleep, he finds a strange insect crawling on his body, only to wake up and realize it was a nightmare. He leaves the room and finds water on the floor, which he follows until he finds Eric's body in the pool. Soon Henry arrives and checks the blood, noticing that it does not contain any viscous substance. This means the alien is still loose. Another flashback shows that Lee used to be a hacker. She worked for the leader of a gang, who one day fired her to replace her with AI. The meeting ended when she removed her glasses and revealed that everything was online because she couldn't touch people. Desperate, Lee hired an AI partner and took her to an abandoned game where she removed her morality filters. Then she gave the AI a program she had created herself, hoping it would help her defeat another AI so she wouldn't lose her job. This gave the AI tons of new knowledge. They spent a lot of time together in the virtual world, and Lee even gave the AI a hologram so it could learn to touch people. One night they went to a virtual bar and saw Lee's ex-boss, so the AI devised a plan. She approached the guy and gave him a drink containing Lee's hacking program, activating it by kissing his neck. The boss realized this AI wasn't his and grabbed her, so Lee shouted at the same time that the AI smashed a glass over the man's head. A group of guards appeared and Lee had to log out. She waited a few hours before logging back in at the bar, and when she tried to approach the AI, the guards surrounded her. Lee escaped by transferring herself to the abandoned game, where her AI found her. She warned Lee that the gang was after her, so the only way for Lee to escape was to join the Thea project. Then the AI kissed her to transfer the information she had about it before disappearing. Lee then downloaded everything into a chip and underwent surgery to hide it under her skin. In the present, Lee forces herself to ignore her fears and helps Henri carry the body to the infirmary. She cuts open the top of the head and confirms the alien is gone. Then Henri removes the brain and slices it in two, discovering that the alien corrupts memory. With an idea, Lee runs out of the room and bumps into the others, who notice the blood on her shirt. Soon the group arrives at the infirmary and realizes the alien must be infecting one of them. Meanwhile, Lee runs to the control room and grabs a case to access the chip hidden in her wrist. However, the computer cannot access the data, so Lee rips out some wires to create a discharge on the chip despite the pain. Now she tries again and accesses the database in the chip with everyone's profiles. Meanwhile, Shun goes to his room and discovers that someone has stolen his gun. In the gym, Logan, panicked, breaks things and ignores Katie's attempts to calm him down. Baum then announces that he believes Lee is the infected one because he found Eric. They go to look for her and find her watching Logan's interview. Lee tries to escape, but Logan grabs her and makes her drop the case. A fight breaks out and the guys easily overpower her, knocking her unconscious. When she wakes up, her hands are tied and Baum is interrogating her. She spits in his face and Baum pulls out Shun's gun, but Logan immediately disarms him, thinking this has gone too far. At that moment, the others arrive, so Baum pushes Logan to take the gun, but it falls and fires, injuring Shun's arm. Now Lana takes control and kicks Logan and Baum out of the room. Shun follows them and forces them into the elevator, where he fires a warning shot and threatens to kill them if they ever show up again. Suddenly, an explosion occurs in the infirmary, and the system quickly extinguishes the fire, but it is already too late. The scanner is destroyed, and now they cannot scan everyone's brains to find the alien. A few days later, Logan and Baum run out of food and water, so they go looking for supplies on unexplored floors. They find the body of the man who fell, and guilt makes Baum vomit. In another room, he is pleased to discover a lifeboat full of food. After taking some supplies, he leaves and sees Kai secretly bringing food and medicine to Logan. Then a flashback shows Baum at the auction of one of the last plants on Earth. He met Margot and they quickly got along. They started dating, and Baum discovered that she owned a very valuable necklace kept in a nanobot safe activated by her voice. Margot's stepson, Casper, realized that Baum was using her to steal the necklace and explained that she had taken it from her dead father, so he wanted to help Baum recover what was his. Baum continued dating Margot while secretly recording everything she said to build the password. At the same time, he started a romance with Casper, who wanted a new life with Baum after stealing the necklace. Finally, Baum recorded all the words and Casper left the door open so he could steal the necklace, which he immediately took to a shop. However, the necklace turned out to be fake. Moments later, the police caught him and sent him to prison. Margot visited him and explained that her husband had lost the real necklace in gambling, so she at least wanted to get the insurance money by having someone steal it. She promised to get Baum a short sentence if he didn't tell the police about the fake, but he refused to cooperate and she left. Casper also visited him and explained he wasn't working with her. Margot accidentally saw them together and discovered the truth. However, she refused to help Baum because she needed the money, since she was a gambler like her father. Still in love, Baum agreed to keep his mouth shut. In the present, Baum waits for Kai to leave and takes Logan to the lifeboat. Logan will try to bypass the system to be able to separate it from the main ship. Meanwhile, Lana and Evelyn open the luggage room so everyone can recover their personal belongings. Logan doesn't have one because he owned nothing on Earth, and Katie kisses him to comfort him. His feelings for her make him show her the lifeboat, and Baum finds them. Logan confronts him and says Katie will come with them, ignoring his protest. Later in private, Katie reveals that she found a crew member's tag but also admits she doesn't trust Baum, so Logan agrees to leave with her alone. They use the tag to activate the lifeboat, but before leaving, Katie goes to get more medicine. This is seen by Lee, who becomes suspicious. Meanwhile, Baum confronts Logan because he heard everything and starts the emergency launch. Before leaving the capsule, Logan immediately follows him and they watch the lifeboat fly away. Then Logan punches Baum, who retaliates by strangling him and leaving him on the floor. Minutes later, Katie finds him, but Logan is angry and drives her away. Later, Lee finds Logan and threatens him with the laser to make him confess. When he had his first seizure matches what she saw in the file. Lee convinces him to work together and they hide in a station where Logan helps her repair her case. Suddenly, the ship rumbles and the group checks the computer, discovering they are losing pressure in Cell 50. They will have to seal the hole to prevent it from getting worse. Shun, Evelyn, Lana, and Henri gather some tools, and on their way to the cell they run into Logan, who comes to help. In Cell 50, they begin sealing the edges between the asteroid and the ship, only for Evelyn to suddenly announce that they must flee. A hole opens in the wall and the group has to hold on to avoid being blown out. Unfortunately, Logan is hit by a crate and crushed against the asteroid. Then the crate wedges itself in the hole, covering it completely. Shun and Lana rush to retrieve Logan's body, but the crate soon breaks and the blasts begin again. Fortunately, everyone manages to hold on and reach the door, closing it just before the asteroid disintegrates. In the control room, Lee discovers that the system is activating defenses and contacts Shun's group to warn them that the ship is about to disconnect the ring they are in. Everyone crosses the door before it closes, but Lana trips and is left behind. Shun asks Lee to open the door, but the system won't allow it. While Henry and Evelyn take Logan with Baum, Shun tells Lana that her only option is to find a spacesuit and jump from the ring through the hole in the asteroid. Meanwhile, the group takes Logan to the infirmary. He needs a transfusion, but they don't know his blood type, and giving him the wrong blood could kill him. Henri is O positive, known as the most common type. Logan is dying anyway, so Henri thinks they should take the risk. At that moment, Lee finishes fixing her case and checks the profiles, just in time to tell the others that Logan is A negative. Baum has it, and they immediately begin the transfusion. Back with Lana, she finds the suit and enters Cell 50, focusing on Shun's voice to deal with her fear. He asks her about her past, and she tells him a story about her brother as a distraction. She carefully exits through the hole and clings to the side of the ship while Shun opens the airlock, causing her pain. When the ring is finally ejected, Lana makes the jump and lands on Shun, closing the door before the cold can kill him. Moments later, Logan wakes up alone and sees Lee wounded on top of him. She bleeds on him and says, "It's inside," before dying. Logan immediately pulls away and Katie finds him. Another flashback shows that Logan used to do community service in a retirement home as part of a deal with the law. One of the elderly women smelled marijuana on him and convinced him to share, though she admitted she couldn't wait for her euthanasia to be approved on her birthday. Logan took the lady on a ride so she could have one last fun day before her upcoming death. This small trip convinced her to wait much longer before signing the euthanasia papers. However, the next day, Logan discovered she had lied in order to end the day on a bright note, and before leaving for her death, she left him her ticket to Thea. In the present, Katie activates the alarm and the group arrives at the infirmary. Logan tells them what happened and they agree to open Lee. Henry performs the procedure and becomes furious when he discovers there is no alien or damage in the brain. However, there is an entry wound, which means she was stabbed. Shun and Lana point their guns at Logan, who tells them about Lee's project to access the files and compare memories to reveal the alien. The group agrees that they need to find Lee's chip to continue her work, which makes Baum suddenly flee and lock the group in the infirmary. While Baum searches Lee's room, the group breaks the infirmary window. Then Lana, Shun, and Henry go after Baum. When Shun and Lana enter Lee's room, Baum surprises Henri and takes him hostage. Baum swears he is not infected, and once the duo lowers their weapons, he releases Henri and runs toward a dormitory, taking a gunshot to the stomach before the door closes. The trio waits outside and hears him screaming as he pulls out the bullet. At that moment, Henri notices blood on another door and enters to find the scalpel that killed Lee, which means it wasn't Baum. In the infirmary, Logan takes Lee's hand and sees the wound, realizing that when she said, "It's inside," she was referring to the chip. He and Katie begin cutting Lee's wrist and recover the chip. Then they head to the case, but Logan is too weak to go on and tells Katie where to find it. She hurries to look through the profiles and watches her own, but the video doesn't show much because Katie had a nervous breakdown during the interview and didn't answer the questions. Furious, Katie begins to destroy the chip when Lana and Shun find her, believing she is the alien because the scalpel was in her room. Katie swears it's not true and opens a capsule to throw water on Shun before fleeing. Lana quickly catches up with her, and after a brief struggle knocks her unconscious. A new flashback shows Katie traveling to meet her brother Andy, who was not happy to see her after so many years. She wanted to spend time together, but Andy kept avoiding her and she met Shun, who was kind to her. However, Andy asked her to stay away from him. Katie agreed while hiding a chip implanted in her neck. Eventually, Andy allowed her to attend his sermons, during which he spoke about a life without technology. The moment was interrupted by a drone that scanned Katie's chip before flying away. Now the locals wanted nothing to do with her except Shun, who was happy to have another outcast in town and took her horseback riding. Katie went too fast and fell. When she woke up, she was home and Andy informed her that he had kicked Shun out. An argument followed, and it was revealed that when Katie was a teenager, she burned the trailer of the boy who bullied Andy in order to kill him. Andy did not forgive her, and Katie had to leave. When Katie wakes up, her hands are tied and she is locked up. The group discusses what to do with her and agrees to let the authorities on Thea deal with it, since they only have one day left. Suddenly, the ship begins to rumble and the group discovers that the shields are closing, only to realize they can finally see Thea. To their surprise, a probe flies out of the planet and connects to the ship. The group rushes to check it, but it is empty. Suddenly, the probe glows and takes control of the ship's system. It detects a non-native life form, so it activates a special protocol when all the ship's rings also begin to glow. In the cell, Kai suffers a panic attack as flashbacks haunt her. Shun and Lana go to check the corridors and notice that gas is being released in the last circle, so Henry uses an axe to break the wall and discovers tanks of poison. The gas is being used to kill everyone on board and will soon reach the other circles. Baum believes they need to kill Katie to save themselves, and while everyone argues, Logan goes to the cell and breaks the glass to free her. Meanwhile, Lana refuses to kill again, so Shun forces her to give her gun to Baum, and the men go to find Katie to kill her. A chase ensues, and soon the men find Katie, who finally admits that she destroyed the chip because she didn't want Logan to discover her past. Shun lowers his gun and says they have been wrong before. At that moment, they receive a radio message saying that Henri has an idea. The group gathers and Henri explains that he could use saline solution to lower the body temperature enough to imitate death. If the host dies, the parasite should also die. Henri admits that he might not be able to bring her back, but Katie volunteers to do it anyway. The test begins and Katie starts to fade, but soon they hear the ship's computer release more poison into another circle, which means the alien is still not dead. Henri begins working to bring her back, and it takes too long, so they think she is dead. Fortunately, Katie wakes up in the end. Minutes later, the group discusses what to do, so Evelyn and Abigail begin searching the captain's room. They find a hologram showing Thea's solar system with a planet called Iris that had never appeared on maps before. There is also a confidential file called the Iris Incident, and they learn that the company tried to send a ship there first, but the mission failed due to aggressive aliens. Evelyn plays some footage and they see a woman die as her body twists, which means it is the same alien, and that is why the ship already has poison ready for emergencies. Shun, Henri, and Lana begin searching for oxygen tanks. Logan warns them that the poison is about to reach them, so they run with as many tanks as possible and leave the room just before the poison arrives. Unfortunately, Henri still inhales a little, so he is very weak. Baum approaches the probe to attack it with an axe, but it does no damage. The poison will soon reach him too, and Katie wants to help him because he saved Logan with his blood. When she finds him, they argue until they see on the screen that the probe will soon return to Thea. This could be their escape, but it has a weight limit. Meanwhile, Shun and Lana search for medicine for Henri, and Shun notices something on Max's body. He tells Lana to leave, and then he takes a photo of Max and his brother that Evelyn had left there earlier. On the back it says Max and Sam, which makes Shun suspicious. While Katie and Baum tell the others about the probe, Shun goes to Lana's room and discovers that she had been watching the crew's video logs to gather information and cover her memory gaps. After giving Henri the medicine, Lana goes to look for Shun and catches him with the photo in his hand. A flashback then reveals that Lana had been at the pool when Eric used the opportunity to attack her, passing the alien to her. It learned to act human thanks to the videos and began keeping recorded notes in case it had to jump bodies again. However, Lana's memories kept haunting the alien inside, and bonding with Shun taught it how humans handled pain and survival. It had been her who destroyed the scanner, and when Shun asked her to share about herself, she told him a story about a brother named Sam, which she got from the video. That was Max's brother, so the name on the photo gave away her lie. Lana had overheard Lee talking to an unconscious Logan, and when Lee noticed she didn't have her weapon, she became suspicious. So Lana killed her with the scalpel, which she then left in Katie's room. This triggered Lana's memories full of guilt, which caused her breakdown, even as an alien. In the present, Shun attacks Lana, and a fight breaks out. After a long struggle, Lana pushes Shun and escapes. Shun immediately chases her, and the fight begins again near the elevator. Lana makes Shun stop by pointing her weapon at him, and Shun calls her a monster, which makes Lana remember the child's death. Agreeing that she is a monster, she gives Shun the weapon, and he knocks her out instead of killing her. At that moment, Abigail announces over the speakers that none of them can choose who to leave behind, so they will stay and let Lana and Shun have the probe. While the group gathers the oxygen masks in hopes of surviving, Shun picks up Lana and carries her to the probe, then ejects it with her inside. The computer immediately cancels the protocol and announces that they will soon land on Thea. The whole group begins to celebrate, except Henri, who suddenly vomits and collapses. In the probe, Lana receives a message from Thea saying that no one should approach because the planet is not safe. I hope you enjoyed the video.